Hello happy FlossTubers, it's Jan again. I'm back. Sorry I've been absent for 3 months. So what's been happening since I've been gone? I celebrated a birthday in August and I celebrated my second anniversary for my YouTube channel, and I'm delighted with how many beautiful comments, friends, likes and subscriptions I've had. I have been getting stuck into my garden. It's spring in Australia and I love gardening, and so I've been trying to keep my garden weed free, plant new areas, fill it with lots of flowers and just enjoy it. We had a very cold winter in Tasmania, so I've been enjoying having some spring weather and getting some vitamin D back into my system by being outside in the sun. I've also been away for a couple of weeks. I went to the northern part of Australia called Darwin and had fun sharing the outback experience with my children. I've been working 3 days a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays have been my days off, and I've just struggled to find time to video. Next year will be a bit different. I'll be going back to 2 days one week, 3 days the next. So every second week it should be easier for me to film a video, which I'm excited about. Despite being busy, I still stitch as much as I can in the evenings when I'm at home, and a little bit in the afternoons if I get half an hour here, an hour there. And I've been working on predominantly my Heaven and Earth design, Mini Alice and Snow White, if I get some stitching time during the day. And in the evenings I've been stitching on this fabulous piece, the Prairie Schooler Alphabet. Probably get an hour and a half to 2 hours every night in. I would get to stitch on this 5 to 6 nights a week. Sometimes I have commitments in the evening, so I don't stitch on it every day, but I really try to. So it looks like I take about 5 to 6 weeks to stitch a block. I was hoping it would be as low as 3 to 4 weeks, but I did this one. I remember stitching this in April. 5 months I've stitched 4 blocks. I'm going to show you the ones a bit more individually as I go. Today I'm just going to update you on my Prairie Schooler Alphabet. It seems to be a popular piece among people. Stitchers seem to have this in their stash, especially now the Prairie Schooler is closing down their business. I'm going to insert a photo of where I was last time. I'm sharing with you today this whole alphabet, and then I'll zoom in on individually on the blocks that I've completed. If you've seen it before, you will know or may recall that it is stitched on 36 count linen, so it's quite a fine count to work on. It's a linen and it's just the raw colour, which I absolutely love. I think it adds to this country style feel. I'm stitching it 2/2 using mostly the recommended DMC threads. I have changed a couple of colours, but none more recently. Initially in the first block I made the crab look more salmon, so I changed that colour, and I didn't use the darkest red in the drum or those houses. I used a lighter red. It is 100 centimeters or 40 inches wide, and the depth is 48 centimeters or about 19 inches deep. I have been trying to work out what I'm going to do with it. I am fairly certain I will make it into something for the table. I will probably sew a border around the outside and make it a tablecloth, and when I'm using it, put plastic over the top of it to protect it. I had thought about putting it on the wall. It is very big though, and I know it would be very expensive. I think it would look really good with a fabric border, and I just get it out for special occasions. I have a friend I've been stitching it with, and she is up to a very similar stage to me. She might be a block or two ahead, and we've enjoyed stitching this together. I have been stitching it in hand, predominantly because I've been stitching it with my friend, and I often stitch on the evening, I stitch on it on the evenings, and I just often stitch on my bed in the evenings or on the couch, and I find that with the amount of fabric that is to stitch on, it's probably easier if I stitch in hand. I use the scoop method mostly, and I railroad my stitch across the top just to try and get it as even as possible. I bought the width of the fabric, and then I just bought a 70 centimetre length, which must be like about 25 inches length. So the fabric width would be about 140 centimetres, I would estimate. So that meant I only had to serge 2 edges. The width was serged because I bought it off the bolt. If I was going to do it again, I wouldn't change anything. It has just worked absolutely beautifully. I have often used 2 threads to backstitch. Sometimes the backstitching is not that obvious with just 1 strand of thread. So there are some instances I've used 2. I've mixed it around a bit. I've used 2 and I've used 1. Alright, so I'm going to go individually into the blocks that I have finished since you saw it. Since my last video, I finished Emmys for Mermaid, and if you've watched my other videos, you may recall that I changed the mermaid's face. My friend had already stitched it, and we weren't that happy with her forehead region and her abdomen. But the abdomen was a bit of a pot belly, the forehead was quite large, so I reduced the length of her forehead by a row, and I reduced her abdomen by a stitch or 2, and I'm happier with the result. I adore the heron in the corner of this block, so I'm pleased with the modifications I made. The colours, the blue and the green together, look good too. There used to be a saying when I grew up, blue and green is never seen, but I don't agree. So this is what I've been working on since I finished Emmys for Mermaid. I'm on the 3rd and final row, and I have been working on S is for Sewing, and she's complete now. My friend put little mouths on the people. The Prairie Schooler pattern doesn't have that. Some of the faces are completely blank and some are missing mouths. She's done a really sweet job of the mouth, so maybe I'd appreciate your opinion about that. I have done it strictly as the pattern. I have one of these delightful sewing machines, and so when I stitched that block, I really enjoyed bringing my household object onto this piece of fabric. S is for Sewing is a cute block, and it did stitch up fairly quickly. Next is T is for Time. I haven't quite completed it because I need to go and get a DMC thread I am missing for this central section here, and then I need to backstitch the numbers of the clock and the hands of the clock onto it. I really love this block. It is so beautiful. I love the aquas with the golds and browns. I'm totally thrilled with this block. So while I'm waiting to go to the needle workshop to get that thread, I've been working on U is for Unlock, and last night I stitched the building. It is very cute. It's a lovely block too. It'll have a girl with an umbrella in this section, so I'm very pleased with it. I'll show you the blocks that surprised me with how well they turned out now. K is for Kitty turned out particularly well. I was surprised at how the cat really popped, and with a combination of the birds in this, I think this one surprised me as to how beautiful it was. I absolutely adored the finished product of Ease for Embroidery. The pattern, you know, the picture looked nice on the pattern, but once I actually stitched it up, I thought, wow, that's gorgeous. The motif in the embroidery is beautiful. And the other pattern that I thought really looked fabulous on fabric is this parrot. I'm a bit of a bird fan. I've had a cockatoo in my life, which is a bit parrot-like, and so it was fun to bring this one to life. And I think it's a particularly fabulous design. The colours I wouldn't normally have put together, but it does look absolutely brilliant, so I was very pleased with that. Alright, so I'll leave you there today. I had hoped to finish this by December the 31st. I won't, so now my next aim is to finish it by April. I'm really wanting to work on some of my other WIPs, but I do want to focus on this and get it finished. It's been an enjoyable project, I think, because I can break it down into blocks and there's a small finish at the end of each block. I love how it's looking and how it is all together. I probably should mention I have left 2 full stitches between my blocks. Possibly if I did it again I might have left 3 or 4, but I didn't because it does add to the size of the actual pattern. The other thing I should mention is that not all the blocks are charted 100 by 70 stitches, so I've had to cut off a row or 2 off the edge of some of the blocks, particularly in the middle of the alphabet. From L, M, N, O, I've had to shorten. So it's just important when I've done it that I've checked the pattern, I've counted, and I've made adjustments. There were nothing in the pieces were actually lost by doing that, so it was just important just to be careful of that. Yes, so it's absolutely fabulous block. If you someone who loves big projects, I would totally recommend it. I think it's come up really well, and I think it's a bit of a talking point. Thank you for watching today, and I'll post another video soon. Bye.